Have you ever tried to fix a misunderstanding with explanations, only to make it worse? Sometimes, the loudest proof of truth isn't what you say, it's how you stay calm when the world misjudges you. This is the story of Robert Ken, a quiet music teacher who discovered that silence can be the most powerful note in a song. Robert wasn't famous. He didn't have millions of followers or expensive instruments, but he had something more beautiful: heart. Every morning he walked into that small community school with a warm smile and gentle eyes. His classroom wasn't fancy, just old chairs, scratched desks, and a few aging instruments that had seen better days. But to Robert, that room was sacred. It was where broken things found their rhythm again. He taught kids who couldn't afford private lessons, kids who didn't just need music, but hope. He used to tell them, music doesn't ask who you are. It just asks how you feel. His students adored him. To them, Robert wasn't just a teacher, he was the sound of understanding in a noisy world. But not everyone saw it that way. One year, the school faced budget cuts, the kind that leaves teachers nervous and whispers traveling faster than truth. They needed to let someone go. At first, no one said much, but soon, the teacher's lounge began to hum with quiet suspicion. Robert doesn't even push his students hard enough. He spends too much time talking about feelings. He's not strict. He's sentimental. And then came the one rumor that changed everything. Miss Dalton, a sharp, ambitious teacher who always wanted recognition, spread a story that Robert had been taking credit for her students' performances. It wasn't true. Not even close. But rumors, they don't ask for evidence before they spread. They just run fast, wild, destructive. When Robert found out, his first instinct was to explain. He gathered lesson plans, emails from parents, even voice notes from his students thanking him for his help. He went to the principal, calm but trembling. He spoke from his heart, but somehow, every word he said only deepened the cloud of doubt. The principal sighed and said softly, "Robert, I just need some time to figure this out." Those words hung in the air like a closing door. That night, Robert stayed late in the music room. The halls were empty, the laughter of children long gone. Only silence remained heavy, almost alive. He sat at the old piano, tracing his fingers across the worn keys. He pressed one note, soft, lonely, and it echoed through the room like a whisper from something greater than himself. He whispered, "Why do I have to fight for what's true?" No answer came, only the sound of the piano fading into stillness. But in that silence, something changed. It didn't feel empty anymore. It felt peaceful, like the quiet itself was saying, "You don't have to prove the truth. Just live it." The next morning, Robert made a decision: he would stop defending himself. When people avoided him, he smiled. When they questioned him, he listened. When Ms. Dalton bragged about her students' success, he said nothing. Instead, he poured his energy back into the one thing that never betrayed him: music. After class, he stayed behind, sitting alone with the piano. He began composing small melodies, nothing grand, nothing loud, just gentle piano pieces that carried his emotions, the ache of misunderstanding, the quiet strength of patience, the peace that comes from letting go. He called the first one Clarity. He didn't plan to share it, but one night, on a quiet impulse, he uploaded it online anonymously. No name, no face, no ego, just sound. Days turned to weeks. And then, one evening, something unexpected happened. One of his students stumbled upon the music online. She recognized the gentle way the keys were played, the same tenderness that filled her classroom. She shared it on social media with the caption, "This sounds like Mr. Ken." The post spread. People started listening, then sharing, then crying. The world didn't know who made the music, they only knew it felt like forgiveness. Comments flooded in. "This music feels like peace. This reminds me of healing. This sounds like someone who understands pain, but refuses to let it harden them." In just a few weeks, Robert's quiet melodies reached millions. No words, no explanations, just truth wrapped in sound. Eventually, the school found out. And when they did, the truth about Ms. Dalton came to light. Her claims were false. Her lies had finally met silence, and silence had won. She resigned quietly, unable to face the weight of what she'd done. One afternoon, the principal walked into Robert's class. He stood at the doorway for a moment, just watching. Robert was sitting beside a little boy at the piano, guiding his small fingers across the keys as they played Clarity, the very piece that had gone viral. The principal's voice broke the moment's quiet. "Robert," he said, "I owe you an apology." Robert turned with that same calm smile. "It's okay," he said softly. The truth always finds its way home. He didn't need an apology. Peace had already taken the place where bitterness could have lived. From that day on, Robert kept teaching not louder, but deeper. Not with more words, but with quieter strength. His students learned something more than music. They learned grace. They learned that real strength doesn't come from proving yourself, it comes from being unshaken when others doubt you. Every melody that echoed from his classroom carried that message, that even in misunderstanding you can still choose peace. That silence isn't surrender, it's control. It's wisdom. It's the quiet power of someone who knows their truth and doesn't need to shout it. So if the world ever misjudges you, if people twist your kindness into weakness, or your silence into guilt, remember Robert's story. Don't waste your fire trying to light someone else's darkness. Keep it burning within you, because the truth doesn't need to shout. It just needs to keep shining until the world finally learns to listen.